Okay, so what we're going to look at is completing the square and how Alan does this whole idea with completing the square. So let's look at a few x plus 3 all squared, which is just x plus 3 times x plus 3. Now this is going forwards, and when Alan's doing it, he wants us to go in reverse to this. I'll just focus that if I can. Might be a bit better. So again, we get x squared plus 3x plus another 3x plus 9. So you get x squared plus 6x plus 9. And what you notice is that this is always twice the 3. So it doesn't matter what it is. If we start with x plus 5 and we want to square it, what that is x plus 5 times x plus 5. So we get x squared plus 5x plus another 5x plus 25. So what we get is x squared plus 10x plus 25. And again, this 10 is double that. And it wouldn't have mattered if this would have been minus, this would have been minus and minus. All of these would have been minus. So you get minus 10. What's half of minus 10? Minus 5. So it works whether it's a plus or minus. And when we're completing the square, what we're basically doing is doing that in reverse. So if we've got something like this, that x squared plus 6x minus 1 equals 0, how do we solve that by completing the square? Let's just look at this equals 1. So we've taken this minus 1 over the other side, made it plus 1. Now we've got to complete the square. What's half of 6? 3. So we're going to add 3 squared to that, and we're going to add 3 squared to that. Remember, this is just 3 squared and 3 squared. What we get there is that this is exactly x plus 3 squared equals 10. And you can check that. X plus 3 times x plus 3. X squared plus the 3x plus another 3x plus 9, which is x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay? And then Alan sort of solved that. He said that x plus 3 squared equals 10. Okay, let's take the square root of both sides. So you get x plus 3 equals the square root of 10. But it could be the plus or the minus of that. Therefore, x equals minus 3 plus or minus the square root of 10. And that's all it is. So let's look at another example. We might have x squared plus 10x plus 2 equals 0. We're going to complete the square. So x squared plus 10x equals minus 2. And I've left a big gap here because I'm going to fill that gap by completing the square. Half of 10 is 5. So I'm going to add 5 squared to this and 5 squared to that. So what we get is x squared plus 10x plus 25 equals 23. And again, on this side, that is x plus 5 all squared. It gets trickier when there's power out the front, perhaps. So 2x squared plus 8x plus 1 equals 0. The first thing I would do is I would divide everything by the 2 to get back to x squared plus 4x equals minus a half. So I've done the 2 steps there. I've divided by 2 to get a half, and then I've taken the half over. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to complete the square. What's half of 4? 2. So we get plus 2 squared and plus 2 squared. So x plus 2 all squared equals 3.5. 2 squared is 4 minus half is 3.5. So that's when Alan starts talking about completing the square. That is all we are doing. We're just completing the square. If there isn't a zero on this side and we want to complete the square, it becomes a lot tricky. I might just leave that there, completing the square in terms of equations.